Yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I am your host, Tashira Say. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Welcome to week 126 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Shout out to my man once again, Gemini 4D for that intro. Using that for a couple more weeks and then moving on to something else. What are we doing? Well, a lot of you know, inside and outside of CMA, if you actually follow me on social media, you know that I am a huge wrestling fan. I mean, huge. Of course, you know, I'm of age, and like a lot of people, I started watching it when I was young. And to be very honest, there's been a lot of times that I've fell out of watching wrestling because I didn't have cable or whatever the situation may be. So I've been on and off again, you know, pretty much my entire life. But now that you have stuff like the WWE Network and it's only $10 a month and I get to watch all these pay-per-views and old episodes of Raw and SmackDown and all this other new content, yeah, of course I'm going to invest that. But anyhow, huge wrestling fan, and so are my sons, who actually yesterday was Father's Day, and I actually get a chance to every month or every pay-per-view, because sometimes there's two. Every pay-per-view, I get a chance to sit down with them, and we watch the pay-per-views together. It's very, very cool. Very reminiscent of when I was young, and I would watch, you know, like football or basketball or baseball with my pops. So, but yes, happy belated Father's Day to all of my fathers out there, inside and outside of CMA. Salute you all, the fathers. I'll leave it at that. Anyhow, huge wrestling fan, always have been, always will be. And one thing that really excites me as a musician and, of course, as a wrestling fan is the entrance music. It is essential to have really dope music that the wrestler, be it a good guy or a bad guy, that their entrance is incredible, so to speak. It has to be energizing. It has to evoke some sort of emotion within the crowd. And I said, that goes for a good or a bad guy. Whether it's a good guy that comes out and he's getting all cheers and everybody's out of their seats screaming and whatnot, or if it's the bad guy where everybody starts booing, it has to inspire some type of emotion. And it really gets things, you know, it really sets the tone or the tempo, so to speak, going to the ring, getting ready for the match. So I took that to the people and said, hey, make me some damn wrestling music. And we actually got a few entries that I'm eager to get to, starting off with a gentleman that we hadn't heard from in a few weeks, because I know he's been in his new school in a totally different state, if I'm not mistaken, and preparing for the new year of college. So, bringing back my man's LBIII. What you got for me? Yes, sir. LB3. I gotta admit, that was hype. I like that. I like that a lot. And I can definitely see somebody, not, I don't know if that would be necessarily on the WWE main roster level. That's a great possibility. But there is the kind of the college division, even though it's not that, of WWE, the developmental, which is called NXT. I could definitely see that playing in NXT for somebody coming out and the entire crowd, because with NXT being a smaller roster, a somewhat less popular show, but the crowd where they do their tapings or their show every week is a much smaller crowd than the arenas that all of the shows on the main roster, like Raw, SmackDown, all the pay-per-views, much bigger shows up there. But this is a much smaller show here. And I can definitely hear the NXT crowd losing their damn minds to this one. This would be dope, especially if the person that's coming out has that energy to convey physically, just hitting the stage and they're emoting to the crowd and whatnot and getting everybody hyped. Along with that, man, that is nasty. I like that. There's a few elements in that track that is really dope. I like the build up around the 30-second mark, where it actually kind of dips down into a frequency, a low frequency, and it rises up into a higher frequency. And then the actual beat hits, everything hits, I should say, around the 40. But then there's another part, I think it's around the 120, where it kind of had like a vocal sample in there. That was dope. I mean, everything about this track is on point. I could definitely see somebody using that in NXT, man. Woo, that's dope. And everything is there. All of the elements are there that we've been talking about and developing over these last, couple of months of the WHA for 2016. This is what I'm talking about. That's hype. LB3, my man, you brought it. Thank you, sir. All right, take it back to Detroit. Holla at my dude. No one you know. Yes, sir. No one, doing his thing. I like that. I like that a lot. I got to give him props because he reeled it in this week, where he actually had the mix was pretty tight and the structure and everything. So he's definitely brought it back. Excuse me. And not that last week was whack, not at all. Just needed some work. Whereas this is more on the path that he was going. He was continuing to grow in. So shout out for that. And I do like the song itself. It's very dope. I like the structure of it. As a let me say this. I'll say two things. As a regular beat for any other purpose, the structure of it is perfect. It really is. But as a wrestling entrance, I think all of it finally kicks in around the 120 or the 130. And to be honest, before that, you don't have that amount of time coming, from backstage, getting to the stage, then getting down to the ring. You don't have that much time unless you're somebody like Undertaker or Finn Balor or something like that, who has these big grand entrances. It's crazy. So you kind of have to move things along and get it, probably within that first 20 to 30 seconds to where it really hits and everybody is like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? But I like his description, what he was saying is like, his wrestler is like a really cool-headed, yet technical guy who can get, pretty ferocious in the ring if need be. And the whole idea, and that's the reason why it sounds the way it is that he's a real cool cat. And as he doesn't emote or show much emotion until he actually gets into the ring. And that's when this is like this explosion or whatever. Only issue is you really don't have that amount of time. So you kind of have to get it from the beginning. But overall, as a track, very nice. I like the direction he went with this particular track. Sounds different from the stuff that he's been doing. So that's where the versatility is coming in, and I really appreciate that. Overall, I like what No One is doing. He's handling his business. And I don't have a lot of backstory on him before CMA, but just watching his growth and development since he's been at CMA and participating pretty much every week. I don't think he's missed a week yet. And if he has, it's only been like one. So shout out for that. But just watching his progress since he's been in the WHA on a very regular basis, he's definitely growing. So shout out for that, my man. Nice, very, very nice submission. So thank you. All right, coming back to a gentleman we hadn't heard from in a little while. This is my dude, too. I'm about to get in his butt. Pause. I'm about to get at him, man. What is up with you? But no, my man, JSP8 is back with us. Let's check in with him. JSP8 finally back into the fold with the WHA. My man, with his submission, that was nice. That was nice. I do like that. Again, that's I can definitely hear that with the NXT crowd. And before I go any further with that, that's not diminishing anything that I say would be for NXT. It's just a different crowd, a different atmosphere. And truth be told, NXT is a lot more popular than it should be. It's basically its own brand at this point, where you actually, like I said, it's kind of like college sports, where you get to see people develop and then eventually, they graduate, so to speak, to going to the big leagues, the major leagues, be it the NBA or the MLB or the NFL, however. So, I really enjoy watching NXT because you get to see people develop and grow, and you get to see their dreams, literally come true when they get a chance to get called up. And we've seen a lot of people over the course of the last few years come out of NXT and go do big things on the main roster. So I'm not diminishing when I say NXT at all, not at all. It's just that feel, and I can definitely see what JSP did here, being amongst that crowd and all those wrestlers down there. Definitely. One thing I definitely would like to suggest, rebalancing the sounds, the volumes of all of the elements, because especially towards, I don't know if it was in the mix or the mastering, which could be both possibly, but definitely as the song progressed, like after the 1 minute mark and on, certain elements and volumes and frequencies sounded a little harsh. It sounded a little hot, like it was distorted. So you might want to go back and like rebalance everything, do some EQ and whatnot, and definitely clean that up a little bit so it doesn't sound so harsh. But other than that, I like where you were going here, and I definitely would like to see you in the podcast more often. This, we've had these conversations. But my man, JSP, thank you, sir. All right, we also going to another gentleman who's returning this week. My dude, he's been going for, last 2 weeks, maybe 3 tops, but I think 2 weeks. My dude's just getting back from vacation. DIXI Freely, what you got for me? Yeah, bruh. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about as far as the energy, the big fight feel, the dangerous man, walking to the ring or whatever the situation may be. That track right there conveys that. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't think DIXI is a wrestling fan. He said this is like, the first time he's ever attempted anything like this. But yeah, he definitely captured exactly what I'm talking about with that, the way the timing and the energy, all of that, it hit perfectly. I do like that. Would like to have seen later, like in the last third or quarter of the track, where it just all comes together. And it did all come together, but I would like to have heard more elements, you know what I'm saying? More strings, organs, high synths, whatever, that just really drives it home at that last part to where everybody is in the crowd at that point just losing it. Yeah, but otherwise, dude, this was a great, great, great track. And DIXI he's back. Like the mix on it. I like everything about this joint, my man. Please continue doing what you're doing. Please, I beg you. Thank you, sir. That was dope. That was very dope. All right, and coming to the man who's going to be closing out this episode, a gentleman we know and love and highly respect because he is completely unstoppable. Wait a minute, that's my nickname. Anyhow, we're going to head down to South Carolina and holler at my man, DJ Lockturnal.
This is Hitman 2-3. Hitman 2-3. Copy all. That's affirmative.
What's your prediction for the fight? Prediction? Yes, prediction. Pain. Pain. Prime Minister, pain, pain. Prime Minister, pain, pain. Prime Minister, pain, pain. Prime Minister.
Man, listen. This episode actually built to a great crescendo. Dog, that was dope. Way to kill it, Lock. That was perfect. Yo, that joint right there. I see. Yeah. So Locke says his character would be this is based on a character, the Prime Minister of Pain. Now, for any old school wrestling fans, the next part of this will make sense to you. He is the fictitious son of Davy Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. And British Bulldog was one of my favorite dudes. I loved him. Half of the famous tag team duo, the British Bulldogs. Man, this was dope. This was everything I needed to hear in a wrestling entrance theme. This had it all. That's what I'm talking about. It hit where the music actually hit hard in that first 20 seconds. And it just kept on developing and getting harder and more intense as it went on. I love the vocal samples, by the way, because he had like Oh, dang it. Who am I? Macho Man. He had a Macho Man Randy Savage drop in there. We seen Ping. And then I don't know who the other guy was that was actually in the British voice that was kind of distorted that was saying Prime Minister of Pain. Very dope. I love the way this developed. And then I think it's around the 120, after the 120 where it goes into like the double time on the drums. Oh my God. That's what I'm talking about. Where it just gets more intense to where it just, the build of it and the crowd just loses their mind. Because I can honestly see, especially with as many wrestlers I'm a fan of and their entrances, I can see there being this build up, so to speak, with their entrance where they're on the ramp and they walk down at the top of the ramp. They walk down the ramp, kind of, emoting to the crowd and however they do. But once, as the track builds, once the guy gets into the ring and that last part hits where it's do, and he's in the ring just wilding out. Oh my God. I don't know if it's necessarily Ultimate Warrior style, but you know what I'm saying. That fits perfectly, like, jeez, oh Pete. And fun fact, Davey Boy Smith's son, I think is Danny, if I'm not mistaken. He actually does wrestle or has wrestled. He does have his own wrestling career. So shout out to that. But man, this was dope. I really enjoyed this submission and this episode. So shout out to DJ Lockturnal, DIXI Freely, JSP8, No One You Know, and LB3 for participating this week. And shout out to you, the watcher, the listener, the people who rock with us every single week. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, please give the video a thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below. Please share this on your social media and tell your people what you're enjoying every single week. And if you would like to be one of us, come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. It is that simple. I'm done for the week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will talk to you next time. Sing it.